everybody. It's Charlie again, and I'm currently playing Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition. This will be another replay review, guys. I'm back to doing reviews. I just needed to finish some games and do some other stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and review this old school gem of a game that, yeah, I just wanted to talk about since I just recently finished it. But yeah, other than that, let's get into it. Hope you guys enjoy. What's up, guys? I'm back reviewing this classic, one of the first open world games in a city, guys. When this came out, it was a really big deal, and I was one of the first people to notice. A lot of people kind of ignored this game, guys, at the beginning until it started making waves. Obviously, after the trailer, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people were like, wait a second, this might be cool, especially when the guy's crawling out of his car. Grand Theft Auto 3, guys, coming back with new graphics, 60 FPS frame rate. A lot of people got a little bit irritated because it wasn't what they expected. They wanted to look realistic. This is what I expected. It's crazy, but this is what I expected. You can see the violence and crazy gang-related stuff gets out of control. You know, you get into a lot of situations because you could basically do whatever you want. You don't have to follow a main mission. Now, I'm talking in the context of the time when this game came out, 2001, right? I was in high school at the time. I was a freshman, and I told all my friends about it, and they were like, "Yeah, it looks the graphics look crappy," because there were games that looked better, but since it's an open world game, they have to minimize the look of the graphics. But once everybody got into it, guys, it blew everybody's mind. So, but we're talking about the definitive edition, and this will give you both nostalgic effect, and it'll give you the, like I said, the gameplay is modern, but you can pick the classic gameplay as well. I just prefer the driving and everything. What we have now is just better. Let's be honest. Technically the gameplay and stuff, but a lot of this simplicity is a lot of fun. Like when I went back into it to play it, and I have a playlist on it, I was like kind of shocked that I was still having a good time. I know some of it is nostalgic, but a lot of it was just me having a good time because it's straight to the point. Now, the game is not that long, it's a very short game. The map is not that big, which I'll show you throughout the video. But as you can see, you can take trains. This is the first game where you can do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Jack any car you want. Buy weapons at ammunition for the first time. Well, actually, technically, there was 2 games before this one, but this is the one that was just 3D, big 3D effect. Well, you're really in it, right? You're immersed in it. They had voice actors that are very memorable, right? And famous people. Now, the handling of the vehicles, there is physics in the game. Sometimes you flip over a little bit too quick, to be honest, and your car takes damage. As you can see, paint to spray. This fixes your car and changes the paint, which, if you're getting followed by the police in the game, the stars come off because they can't recognize your vehicle, even if you followed it there, which is pretty funny, right? Very comical game. It was also a big deal in the media because it was considered too violent at the time. Now you look at it, you're like, well, guys, come on, right? And but yeah, because it gave you that realistic effect where you could just run around and do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? And some people would take it a little far. And you always felt like you were doing something bad, in your parents' eyes. So I would not want my parents to see me play it because I was the type that would forget about the main missions and go wild. I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. Anyways, there's rain in the game still, and this is one of the first weather effects that I saw in a video game that actually looked like rain. But when the definitive edition came out, it had some issues, right? Glitches and weird things where the rain looked like giant globs, like white globs where you could barely see. And they fixed that. They patched it up. As you can see, the rain's back to normal. And I still would recommend playing this, in 2025, guys. Because it really, in my opinion, still deserves props. You know what I'm saying? There's just something about this game. And also, look, reflections and everything is really nice. And I did play the original. I still own the original. copy for this game. I own all 3 of the original games, and I try to play them in, you know, with higher resolution, you know, with an emulator, and let me tell you guys, it's not the same. I think this is still pretty clean, man. You know, a lot of people may disagree because they got mad at, since they don't look as realistic as they should. I like the fact that they kept most of the style. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not. Probably unpopular, right? But like I said, I had a good time. I remember the triads and the mafia and all that in the game, the factions in the game, and I thought it was cool. It was very, I don't know how to explain it. There's just a fun effect to it that you just can't take away. There's a charm, is the word I'm looking for. And the way the gunplay is and everything is very simple. It does that auto-targeting thing. But now, in the new one, if you're using the new controls, you kind of have to make sure you're hitting the target. It's still a little wonky and weird. It's an old game, right? As you saw, I had taken a fire truck, which is stuff that you can do. You can do a lot of stuff nowadays, right? And other GTAs and stuff. But when you're exploring the rooftops, you can find items, like hidden items, and there's like over 100 of these special items. I don't want to say what they are, but the game has a lot of like interesting things, right? It wasn't very censored at the time because we had never seen anything like it, and it just came out of nowhere, out of left field, and you punch you right in the gut. He does do combat as well. The combat is very simple and arcadey, but it's kind of funny when you hit people. It's hilarious. There's also destructible areas occasionally, like glass you can break and stuff like that, which makes the game a little bit cooler, like I said, especially for the time. And if you're playing it for the first time, you might still have a good time if you've never played this kind of game before, right? Now, I would like to give this game a 7.5 out of 10. As you can see, if you get out of control, you know what I'm saying, I created some problems. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10 I think is deserved. Here's some of the settings that you can change. Performance mode or quality mode, they both look pretty much the same. You might as well choose performance mode. It runs at a solid 60 with no slowdowns or anything like that, as well as changing the brightness and, you know, color palettes, contrast, depending on your monitor or TV. There's also really fast cars in the game. This is one of the ones that you get near the Mafia house, if you guys are wondering. Obviously, I'm not going to put any of the story in here. I don't spoil games. But yeah, there's little locations and stuff. The map is not that big, like I said, but it's still fun. A lot of things in the game, like the handling, like it's going to be difficult. I'm not good at racing games, so these sections are extremely difficult for me. This is the hardest thing for me in the game. When it comes to combat, shootouts, and stuff like that, I can handle it. This stuff, complicated for me. But the reason why I give it a 7.5 out of 10 is because I always thought the game was about a 7, and the definitive edition with better graphics and better gameplay, you know, 0.5. There's the other GTAs are just way better, you know, so it's kind of hard. This is more of a nostalgic effect, like a first time, oh crap, I can't believe this is a game that's coming out type of effect that I got from it, you know. And that's what I'm grading it on. Plus, I did have a good time recently. I just decided to try it out. It's free currently on the PSN, guys. I don't know what the actual price is. I don't know if they still sell it in a bundle with the other 2 games. But I can genuinely tell you that you will have a good time. And you will laugh a lot because it's just funny. Just a lot of different things. The characters are funny. Your character doesn't talk. So a lot of people hated that. I think the talking protagonist actually started in Vice City. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you play this game. And just like Wukong, I mean, in the Wukong game, Black Myth Wukong, it's a new game, and the Destined one doesn't talk. So technically, and I'll talk about that some other time when I make a Wukong video. There's still a lot of stuff. I think there's a DLC, but anyways, we're doing this review now. And yeah, the cars look better, they handle better, they feel better, the graphics are better, the sound is better, I think. They don't have a lot of classic tracks though, so keep that in mind. They had to take that out, I'm pretty sure, because I did play the original game not too long ago, and I was like, oh crap, makes sense, licensing and all that. So expect some of your favorite tracks not to be in the game anymore. But overall, I think it's a better experience. They kept the style. It looks a little bit more colorful, like the palette. And you could do stunts and stuff in the game still, you know, to get points. You could do there's unique little things that they added, right? Like I told you, you could steal an ambulance and be a paramedic. You could steal a police car and be a vigilante. That stuff is in there. You can't do it during a mission, I'm pretty sure. But I did see the icon a few times, and I did drop off a few people in one of the videos when I did taxi stuff. And you guys saw the fire truck earlier, so. But very straight to the point, simple game from a much more simpler time. And I would still recommend this game, guys. It's a 7.5 out of 10, but it's a good 7.5, you know. I don't know why people think a 7 is bad, but it's not. You know, it's just it's a good score, right? Mediocre would be a 5. So I still think it's above mediocre in a lot of ways. It's just not that long. But anyways, here's the record keeping area where you keep stuff, and you know, you make sure you see the scores of how many times you've died and all that. And yeah, it's just really cool overall game. I think still worth playing and checking out, especially since it's free on the PSN if you guys have that. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here, guys. 7.5 out of 10. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe when you get a chance. And like I always say, okay.